full of fears.
Huh?
There is a team on a mission. They are the Fearbusters. Who you gonna call? Fearbusters.
Good morning, everyone. Jenny Wright here, back in the Fearbusters lab for our final week here, busting fears. But before we check out our fears for today, let's have a go at our anthem one more time. So everybody stand to your feet, and I want you to sing nice and loudly our anthem song, declaring to everyone that with God on our side, we are fearless.
I prayed to the Lord and He answered. He freed me from all my fears. I prayed to the Lord and He answered. He freed me from all my fears. I will trust His word. Hey, we're not scared, we're set free from our fears. Hey, we're not scared, we're set free from our fears. I prayed to the Lord and He answered. He freed me from all my fears. I prayed to the Lord and He answered. He freed me from all my fears. I will trust His word. Hey, we're not scared, we're set free from our fears. Hey, we're not scared, we're set free from our fears. Hey, we're not scared, we're set free from our fears. Hey, we're not scared, we're set free from our fears. We are fearless, fearless. We are fearless, fearless.
Wow, good job everybody. You can take a seat now. Well, I've got a note from Vicky here this morning. It says, "Hey Jenny, just got called off on an urgent fear-busting assignment. I'll be back later. Please feed Steve and get started busting fears in the lab. Feel free to call the field team if you need anything. From Vicky." Sounds like Vicky gets to have all the fun. I was hoping for a company this morning. It gets a bit lonely here in the Fearbusters lab all by myself. But then I've got you for company, don't I, Steve? I'm not all alone. Here, have a sultana. You don't like sultanas? You're so fussy, Steve. Guess I'll have to order some more crickets. How'd you sleep last night? Any bad dreams? Even he's not in the mood for talking. I'll tell you my dream. I had a whopper of a dream. I dreamt that I was at the circus playing Attack with a talking chicken. And then a magician brought us a fairy floss flavoured hot dog. I know, weird. It's a bit lonely this morning. I know. Let's start busting some fears. That'll help to cheer me up. Okay, let's check our mailbox for today. See what we've got. Letter. Okay. Dear Fearbusters, my name is Jake. I'm part of a soccer team and right now we are undefeated. You read that right, we haven't lost a single game all year. There's just one problem. We are headed into the championships and we're up against a super tough team. Their team name is the Giants and boy does that fit. Every player seems to be older, bigger and stronger than anyone on my team. I'm so scared to even play the championship game. What if they beat us? After winning all year, I don't think we could handle that. I need your help, Fearbusters. I have this big fear that we're going to lose. Oh boy, poor Jake. He sounds a bit desperate. We need to help Jake, but you know what? I think I'm the one who needs help this morning. I'm talking to snakes after all. I think I might actually go out looking for Vicky. I'm actually a bit worried about her. She might need my help and I could do with her company. I'm going to check in with the field team and get them to help Jake. And I'm going to go and see if I can locate Vicky. Checking in.
Hey guys, I'm Field Agent Trey, and this is Harper.
Hi there.
And I'm Grant. Trey, are you ready for this? We have a fear sent to us from Jake that we need to bust. Here's the deal. He is afraid of losing his championship soccer game.
Trey, that's right up your alley. Sports is pretty much your thing. Take a look.
Sports is my thing. Okay. Jake says his team is undefeated, and now he's afraid that the one time they will lose is at the final championship. Man, I know exactly what he means. There's a lot of expectations when you have an undefeated team.
To lose the very last game? I mean, how could you ever show your face again?
That actually happened to me once, and it made me want to hang up my cleats for good.
And to make matters worse, his team is bigger and stronger than Jake's.
They're called the Giants. I'm really thankful that I don't have to go up against a team like that.
That's it. I know exactly how to bust this fear of losing. Thankfulness. When we have fear like this, we can be thankful for what God has done for us, and that gives us hope for the future. And that's exactly what a guy named David did. Here, check this out. God's people, the Israelites, were fighting a group called the Philistines. There was a young man named David who brought food for his brothers to eat as they battled. When he got there, he saw the Philistines had a soldier fighting for them that was like nothing the Israelites had ever seen. His name was Goliath, and he was a giant. Everyone in the Israelite army was afraid of him. He would go into the middle of the battlefield and yell for someone to come out and fight him. This went on for several days, and no one wanted to go up against the giant. This made David upset. He went to King Saul and asked to fight Goliath. David told the king that God had helped him defeat a lion and a bear before, and he knew God would help him now. King Saul agreed to allow David to go up against Goliath. So, David went to the stream and picked up 5 smooth stones and put them in his bag with his sling. Then, he took his bag and walked up and stood in front of Goliath. David reached into his bag and took out a sling and a stone and swung it at the giant. The stone hit right into Goliath's forehead and knocked him down. When the Philistines saw what David had done, they turned and ran. David defeated the giant, and the Israelites had won. Later in his life, David wrote in Psalm 118, "Thank God because he is good, and his love endures forever." You see, because David remembered all God had done for him, he was thankful, and he knew he didn't need to be afraid.
So we can tell Jake the best way to bust the fear of losing is to be thankful for what God has already done.
Because when you remember what God has done, you can be thankful, and that helps with the fear of what's to come.
That's right. I'd say fear of losing plus thankfulness equals that this fear is... Oh, sorry, this is kind of awkward. Hello?
Busted!
That's right, Spence. This fear is busted.
Wow, that was a fantastic fear busting method and an awesome story about how David busted his fears by being thankful. Thankful for how God had taken care of him in the past. Because he was thankful for what God had done, he could trust God to take care of him no matter what he faced. He didn't have to be afraid of anything, even a scary giant, because he was thankful for all the things God had already done in his life, and he knew that God was with him. So I'm going to send that information from the field team on to Jake, and then we can call this fear, you know what it is, busted. Well, do you know what? I did go out looking for Vicky earlier. I searched for her everywhere and I couldn't find her. I even texted her 7 times and all I got back was bad reception in forest, fear camping. Fear camping? What's that supposed to mean? I hope I didn't miss an email about our annual Fearbusters camping trip. It's always so much fun. Let me just check. Checking emails. I don't think I've missed anything. It's a bit weird. Oh, there is a video coming in though. A video message. Let's see what this one's all about.
Fearbusters, I need your help. My name's Scout, and I'm a camp counselor here at Camp Kazoo. Every year, all of us counselors take our campers out into the woods for an overnight camp out, and I'm always so afraid to go. When it gets dark out there, you never know what could be lurking. Can you help me bust my fear of camping before our trip tomorrow? We hike out in less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours. We better get onto this one quick. We can't have a camp leader who's afraid of camping. That would be terrible. Do you know what? I just figured out where Vicky is. When she texted fear camping, she meant she's out in the forest trying to bust Scout's fear of camping. We can't let Vicky have all the fun. We're going to bust this fear right here in the lab. There we go. I almost feel like I'm out in the woods. Now, I'll pretend to be Scout, the camp leader, and you guys are the campers, okay? What do you like to do when you go camping? What about toasting marshmallows, making campfires, looking at the stars? Those things are fun, aren't they? A bit tricky to do inside. I know. I have got a campfire story though. Would you like to hear it? It's called The Legend of the Green Gorilla. You ready? There once was a brilliant lab engineer whose life goal was to bust every fear in the world with her amazing inventions. This engineer, Penny, had a great partner called Nikki, and they just loved busting fears. One day, Penny received an urgent message from Nikki that there was a monster loose in the lab. Penny rushed to the lab calling, "Nikki! Nikki!" There was no response. So Penny tried the lights, but they didn't work. She tried to send a text message. There was no service. She quickly realized she was all alone in the dark, cold room. Or was she? What's that noise? Did you hear that? Okay, cut. No more story. Let's put the lights back on. End of camp time. Oh, Steve, the noise was just you moving around the whole time. Phew. Okay, I got to admit it. I can see why Scout's a little afraid of camping in the woods at night. It can be a little bit creepy, to be fair. But you know, now that I've turned the lights back on, I'm realising that, well, I was completely safe the whole time, wasn't I? There's no way a monster could get loose in the lab. I've always been safe here. And you know what? Even if I am feeling a little bit afraid, I can remember that I can trust God. He is always with me and He will always take care of me. In fact, you know, that's what I need to tell Scout. Scout just needs to think about how God has kept him safe on all of his other camping trips and be thankful for what God has already done. And then he can trust that God will be with him on all of his future camping trips too. I've got to tell Scout what we discovered. But first, I'm going to say this fear is busted. Do you know what? While I'm at it, I should text Vicky and tell her that we've busted this fear. I don't want her staying out in the woods any longer than she needs to. Vicky, camping fear busted. Come home now. Hopefully she gets it. Oh, we have a call coming in. Hello, Fearbusters Hotline. Jenny speaking. How can I help you?
Hey there, Fearbusters. My name's Jimbo, and I've got a fear for you to bust. Every night I look out my back window, and sometimes I see something huge and hairy walking right through my backyard. I've never seen something so large. Things that are bigger than me, they sure do make me nervous. And you know what I think it is? I think it's one of them there Bigfoots. One of my greatest fears is that Bigfoot himself is going to come and knock my house over. My fear of Bigfoot has got me where I can't even fall asleep at night. Can y'all help me?
Mr. Jimbo, we can assure you that Bigfoot is not that kind of creature at all. He wouldn't knock over someone else's house. He's probably just as scared of you as you are of him. But we'll work on something and we'll call you right back. Oh boy, we can't let people be afraid of Bigfoot. He's just a big old softy. I think it's best if we just call the big guy himself. I've got his number saved, so I'm going to call him and see if he can come here into the lab and help us bust this fear. I'm going to FaceTime him on my mobile. I hope he's not too busy doing whatever Bigfoots do.
Sorry, I think I pushed some kind of wrong button or something. Now I see your faces on the phone.
Hey there, Bigfoot. You can see us because we're using FaceTime. It's a video call, but that's not why we're calling. Bigfoot, we were wondering if you could do us a favour. Could you come into the lab and help us bust a fear?
Sorry, guys. I'd love to, but this isn't a good time for me. This is when I have my group therapy sessions for misunderstood creatures. Yeah, Nessie says hello, by the way. Yeah, he's here too. But maybe I can help you on the phone. Okay, what's going on?
Well, someone called in because they're afraid of, they're afraid of you. We're wondering how we can bust this fear. He says he's afraid of anything that's bigger than he is.
People don't understand that being a giant is actually way scarier. The little bitty humans scare me more than anything. Can you imagine everything being below your eye level? I always forget to look down when I'm going somewhere. And as a giant, I can tell you there's no reason to be afraid. You just need to let Jimbo know that God is even bigger than the biggest giant. And if God is with you, you don't have to be afraid.
Bigfoot, you've come so far. The student has become the teacher. Thanks, Bigfoot. You just busted your first fear. I'm making you an honorary fearbuster. I'll call you back if we have any other questions for you. Bye. Wow, I think we got all the fear-busting proof we need. And who would have thought it had come from Bigfoot? See, God is always with us. He's bigger and more powerful than all our fears put together. We can thank God for all the things that He's done and trust that He'll take care of us in the future. Now, we can let Jimbo know everything that Bigfoot said. He doesn't need to be afraid of giants. God is more powerful than any giant that we face. Jimbo can bust this fear by being thankful for all God has done already to keep him safe and trust that God is with him right now. In honor of Bigfoot, I'd say this is another fear busted. Wow, what another exciting day busting fears. Isn't it crazy that Bigfoot has had so many fears over the past few weeks, but now he's helping other people learn ways to bust their fears too. Whether it's fear of being alone, of losing, or of camping in the woods, or even giants, we can bust fears by remembering and being thankful for all God has done for us in the past and trusting to take care of us in the future. Do you know, in today's Bible story, David busted his fear by being thankful too, didn't he? He wasn't afraid to face the giant because he knew that God had taken care of him in the past and he could trust that God was with him. In fact, David lived his whole life being thankful for all the wonderful things that God had done for him. And just like David, we too can bust our fears with thankfulness. If I had to guess, I'd say that's our need to know for this week. Let's find out by playing our Hide the Spider game with Grant. Let's go.
Where's the spider?
Okay, let's say that together. Bust fear with thankfulness. Do it again. Bust fear with thankfulness. Great job, everyone. Okay, well, before we finish this week, let's just close our eyes and say a short prayer. Dear Jesus, thank you for listening to us when we're afraid. When we face fears, help us to be thankful for all you've done for us in the past. And remember that you're always with us. We are so thankful that you are far more powerful than all our fears put together. Thank you for being with us and showing us how we can be fear busters with your help, knowing you are with us. Thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name, amen. Well, I think it's time to take Bigfoot and Vicky and Chloe out to dinner to celebrate Bigfoot's new fear busters status. I wonder how much Bigfoot can eat in one sitting. Probably quite a lot, hey? And you know, Bigfoot isn't the only one who should get a new Fearbusters status. You guys have been the best audience ever. We couldn't have busted all those fears without your help. So I'm making all of you our honorary Fearbusters too. Thank you so much for joining us over these last few weeks in the Fearbusters Lab. We do have one more final week next week, but it's not going to be here in the Fearbusters Lab. I want you to come back and join us for an online Christmas party. So make sure you don't miss out on that one. I'll see you later, everyone. Take care. Bye for now.